Hi, you guys. So, back today with some tips on keeping communication open with your kids about what's going on in the world and what's going on in their world. So, I'm getting a lot of questions from parents about how do I make sure my kids are okay? They're acting, kind of just wild and crazy. They're more anxious than normal. I'm hearing that a ton. They're more angry than normal. We're hearing that a lot too. And one of the things that I just wanted to make sure is super clear for you guys is that as much as you and I have lost our social circles, being able to hug people, getting high fives, and being able to see people in person and how important that is for us, our kids have also lost that. Our kids, from the ones that have been in daycare all the way up through our seniors in high school, and even our younger kiddos who have typically spent time with neighbors, with friends, with grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles. A lot of that has really kind of fallen apart for them, depending on who's in your tight social circle, and who a safe person is right now. And so it's really important to just acknowledge that the kids have really lost something giant also. And I think that can be really scary. What I'm noticing is a lot of parents don't know how to talk about this with their kids because they don't want to make it worse. And so that's something I wanted to talk about with you guys, because you talking about this with your kids does absolutely the opposite. So it makes it a whole lot more manageable for them. So I came up with a couple of tips that I think can be really helpful. So CoronaParenting Communication Edition. So the first thing that I'm going to ask you guys to do is model good processing. So what this looks like is, when you have a thought about coronavirus and maybe how it has impacted your shopping trips, you no longer feel comfortable standing in the aisle looking at shampoo for 15 minutes. And how it's really kind of sad. You can't go, for me, I can't go get my nails done. Some of the littler things, I say those out loud. I say those out loud to my kids, but I also say them to my husband in front of my kids. I say it on the phone in front of my kids so that they know that I am experiencing loss too, and that I'm saying it out loud. So one of the things that we do in our house, which I have found to be pretty helpful, is to do what's called, we call it highs and lows. And this gets into ask how they are. So for highs and lows, pretty much every day in my house, we have a time where everybody goes around and says their high and low for the day. And so that's where somebody says, like when it's my turn, I say the best thing that happened today. And then my low is something that I did not like about today. So usually they're pretty small, kind of inconsequential things. Sometimes they're bigger, but it helps me keep a tempo on what's happening in the emotional climate in my house. And it also shows my kids how they can talk about these things. So for today, my high is going to be probably that I got to have 2 cups of coffee. I let myself have 2 cups of coffee this morning. And that was really nice. I've been trying to keep it to 1. My low might be that it was cloudy today for the afternoon. And recently it's been like, my high is that everything at work is going well. My low is that we still can't see our friends. And the longer that you do this, the more comfortable your kids will get with it. And the important thing during this time is not to correct them. So sometimes your kids might say, well, my low is that my mommy yelled at me today. And this is not time to correct. So this is just time to hear and kind of validate. I know that's kind of like one of those words that's like, what does that mean? So that would be like, yeah, I bet that was hard. I bet that was hard. It's not a time to correct or teach. So this is just time to hear how they are and then move on to the next person. And so another way that I ask how they're doing is occasionally, about once a week, I would recommend really with your kids of any age. If they're doing pretty okay, I would keep it to once a week, but you can ask them, things are pretty weird right now, huh? everybody's home together. We're not able to see our friends. How are you? I'm wondering if this is kind of weird for you too. And then, so the purpose in doing this is to make sure that your kids know that it's okay to talk about it with you, specifically the coronavirus stuff that's going on. It's okay to bring questions to you, and that you're going to be a safe place for them to do that. So something that I've also found to be really helpful is to actively reflect on what's weird. So for example, it didn't really occur to me because my husband and I have just been kind of tag teaming who goes to the store to get groceries. My daughter said to me the other day, I haven't been to the grocery store in a really long time. And it just occurred to me that she hadn't been to the grocery store in a really long time. And that never even crossed my mind. And so we talked for a minute about like how weird that is. And what is the part of the grocery store that she likes best? And what part does she not like? So she does not like the refrigerated section because it is too cold. She really likes the pet section because she wants to look at the fish. And so we just kind of giggle about it and then we move on. So really the intent is for you guys to have open lines of communication, keep talking about it. Oh, another one I should write on here is talk about how it's temporary. So this is not going to go on forever. It's going to go on for a while, and things are going to be weird for a while, but we're in this together. It's weird for all of us. We're going to figure it out. It's going to be okay. If you can also sort of embody some confidence, in like you can allow yourself to be sad, show them that you're sad at an appropriate level, but also really make sure that they can see on you that like, this is hard, but we can do this. And soon we're going to be able to see our friends again, and we'll be able to go back to school, and we'll be able to get big hugs from grandma, and we'll get to go out to dinner again and play at the play place at Chick-fil-A and all of those fun things. And you can sort of dream about that together. That's something that's really joining for a family unit, is to kind of dream together about things that are coming. So if you have questions, shoot them over to us. One of the things that we're doing right now is running a video support group for parents. We have 2 of them running, one for younger kiddos and then one for parents of like the late teens, early 20s that are kind of back home. And the reason that we're doing that is because we're finding that everybody's super isolated and they have no idea that everyone else is struggling just as much as they are. And so that's a super low cost. We're doing that at like a loss for us because we want to make sure that you guys have access to really good support. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to any of our We Fix Brains locations. You can do that. Our location email is grandrapids@wefixbrains.com. Or you can give us a call at 616-929-0248. All right, you guys, hang in there and we'll talk soon.